Welcome to the TerraSavage channel, which takes you into the world of giant and bizarre prehistoric animals. From the Leviathan in the Bible to the primal fear of the abyss, humans have always been haunted by sea monsters lurking in the ocean. A predator with a crazy biological weapon, teeth coiled like saw blades, so sharp that they defy all the laws of survival. Today, we will explore the mystery of Helicoprion, the spiral shark, which has made the entire scientific community a joke for more than a century. Are there really monsters under the ocean, or are they all just legends? Watch until the end of the video to find out the explanation for this mysterious existence, a shocking discovery in the Urals. The story of Helicoprion began almost by accident in 1899 in Russia's harsh Ural Mountains. Miners quarrying limestone building material for a rapidly developing world suddenly hit something peculiar. It wasn't gold or coal, but a strange, razor-edged spiral hidden in rock hundreds of millions of years old. At first, they thought it was the shell of an ancient sea snail, or perhaps the teeth of a giant squid. Some even imagined it was a kind of weapon from a prehistoric creature. But none of them, not even the first scientists who examined the find, could guess the truth. They were facing one of paleontology's greatest mysteries, a riddle that would take more than a century, dozens of wild hypotheses, and major technological advances to solve. This was not just a fossil. It was the opening move in a century-long battle of wits between humankind and nature's creation, a test of our ability to comprehend what lies beyond imagination. From that first fossil in Russia, similar tooth spirals began turning up around the world, from Utah and Idaho in the United States to Australia. But every discovery was just another isolated piece with no other body parts. It was like finding the most intricate key ever made, but having no lock to show what it fit. Confusion grew, and debates flared without end. Scientists wrestled with unanswerable questions. Was this animal a shark, or some kind of bony fish? Where did the teeth grow? Why were they coiled? For decades, every new find was only another tooth spiral, with no clues to the rest of the skull. Like an invisible enemy, Helicoprion left only a single trace, its mysterious weapon daring us to discover the creature that bore it. Fossil mystery and wild hypotheses. When these spirals reached the scientific community, confusion peaked. Russian scientist Andrei Karpinski was the first to describe them in 1899, naming the animal Helicoprion, meaning spiral saw. The name said it all, a perfect coil with hundreds of sharp teeth packed together. The problem was that we had never seen any creature with such a dental structure. It ran counter to every anatomical rule we knew. To explain this oddity, hypotheses multiplied from ideas that sounded plausible to utterly fantastical guesses. Some scientists argued the spiral sat on the animal's snout, forming a twisted horn to stab prey. Another, even stranger theory, placed it on the back or dorsal fin, like a fin lined with teeth. Some suggested it was a defensive tool used to intimidate enemies. Imagine the scene: leading scientists, people who devoted their lives to studying Earth's life, so baffled by a fossil jaw that they sketched imaginary monsters. This wasn't just a scientific debate, it was a mental duel, proof that nature can create things far stranger than we can picture. If you had to face a monster whose form even science couldn't imagine, what would your instincts tell you? Certainly not to charge straight at it. This mystery dragged on for decades. Researchers kept struggling with scattered fragments, trying to assemble a complete picture. But the crucial piece was always missing: the animal's head and jaws. We had the tooth spiral, but no skull-like finding a gun mechanism without knowing whether it belonged on a tank or a sailboat. Then, in the 2000s, technology brought a new glimmer of hope. Scientists began using CT scans, medical imaging to see through rock without destroying the fossil. And then a breakthrough. In 2013, a research team led by Leif Tapanila CT scanned a specimen from Idaho and finally found the missing pieces, remnants of jaw cartilage, and skull hidden inside the stone. Everything changed after that. 3D models revealed that the tooth spiral wasn't on the back or forehead, but nestled neatly inside the lower jaw, extending deep into the throat. It wasn't for stabbing or defense. It was a biological grinder, a mobile saw permanently mounted in the jaw. Killing machine, the power of the spiral jaw. When the truth came out, the world was stunned. Helicoprion's dentition wasn't just unique, it was an evolutionary masterpiece. Picture this. When the shark opened its mouth, the tooth spiral rolled inward. Older teeth were pushed deeper, while new, razor-sharp teeth continually formed at the front. This wasn't a typical biting or tearing jaw. It was a living buzz saw designed to cut and pulverize prey. Scientists studied its function with 3D simulations. When Helicoprion bit down, the spiral rotated inward, simultaneously slicing and grinding prey like a colossal meat grinder. It allowed the animal not only to hold on to slippery prey such as squid or fish, but also to slice through animals with tougher shells. And if you ever faced this monster in real life, would modern hunting weapons be enough? A single bite from this jaw wouldn't be a normal wound. It would tear through everything, crushing bone and flesh with immense force. This wouldn't be a hunt. It would be a fight for survival against a perfected killing machine. One bite, and you'd be unrecognizable. The Permian Ocean. Helicoprion's world. Fully understand Helicoprion, we have to travel back to the Permian period, roughly 298 to 252 million years ago. Earth looked entirely different. The continents were fused into a single supercontinent called Pangaea, and the deep ocean was an utterly alien world. It was an age of strange creatures and evolutionary leaps beyond imagination, with an estimated length of about 6 to 7.5 meters, and some estimates reaching 10 meters. Helicoprion was one of the largest predators of its seas, comparable to a modern great white shark, and possibly longer. It likely had a slimmer, more eel-like body, helping it glide quickly through the water. The Permian Ocean swarmed with potential prey, vast schools of fish, ancient cephalopods with hard shells, and even early marine reptiles. With its spiral jaw, Helicoprion wasn't picky. It was an apex predator with no direct competitors at its size. If a large fish got caught in that spiral of teeth, it had no chance. To help you picture its size, here are a few comparisons. In the Permian Seas, Orthocanthus was just over 2 meters long, hunting in rivers and lakes with slender jaws and needle-like teeth. Meanwhile, Helicoprion stretched over 7 meters, dominating the open ocean with a bizarre weapon, a spiral saw of teeth unlike anything seen in any other shark. Compared to the great white shark of today, Helicoprion reached a similar length but weighed only a fraction as much. The great white is a heavy block of muscle with bone-crushing bite force, while Helicoprion was more like a sleek cutting machine, relying on speed and its spiral jaw to shred its prey. This contrast shows how, while most sharks evolved by maximizing raw muscle and bite strength, Helicoprion followed a completely different path. A strange experiment of nature, dazzling yet ultimately doomed to extinction. In a no-escape encounter with a monster like this, would you run or stand your ground? The answer is obvious. You don't face down. A machine that slices through everything. The final hunt. The Permian mass extinction. But even the most perfect killing machines can't survive forever. Helicoprion's reign ended abruptly at the close of the Permian, around 205 million years ago, during the cataclysm known as the Permian-Triassic mass extinction, or the Great Dying. It was the worst extinction in Earth's history, wiping out about 90% of marine species and 70% of land species. Imagine skies ablaze with ash and fire from colossal volcanic eruptions in Siberia. The oceans turned suffocating and hot. Instead of cruising through clear water, these sharks were forced to swim through a toxic brew heavy with sulfur dioxide. Worst of all, life at the base of the food web collapsed. Plankton, The foundation of ocean life was destroyed by acidification, small fish vanished, and finally even the giant predators like Helicoprion starved. Its instinct was still to hunt, but there was nothing left to hunt. The former ruler of the sea became a drifting shadow, hopelessly searching for a meal that would never come. Its last hunt wasn't for prey, but for life itself, and it lost. The specialization that had made Helicoprion supreme for 40 million years became its death sentence when its food sources disappeared. It perished with a dying world, leaving behind enigmatic fossils and a stark lesson about life's fragility, legacy, and symbol. Lessons from the spiral saw. Today, when you stand before the vast blue sea, remember that millions of years ago, a giant with saw-toothed teeth once swam silently beneath it. Each fossilized tooth spiral is not only a trace of the past, but also a story of miraculous evolution, of the power and harshness of nature. And Helicoprion is the most brilliant chapter in the Book of the Giants of the Deep Sea, a testament to the fact that science sometimes needs time and patience to decipher the seemingly impossible. Its story reminds us that life on this planet is always a constant struggle, an adventure full of surprises, and sometimes the greatest are not the ones who survive the longest. Helicoprion's legacy lies not only in its mysterious fossils, but also in its lessons about adaptation and the fragility of life. Its specialization, the ultimate weapon that gave it dominance for 40 million years, ended up being its shackles as the world changed. It's a reminder that, in nature, strength may be a short-term advantage, but flexibility and adaptability are the keys to long-term survival. It's like a man with great physical strength who can't change tactics when his opponents change their game. So what's the answer to the original question? Giant sea monsters aren't just myths. They've been a part of Earth's history. Helicoprion is proof, a real predator that roamed the oceans nearly 300 million years ago. And perhaps our greatest regret isn't that it's extinct, but that we'll never get to see this incredible biological machine in action. We are left with only bones, imprints on rocks, and a story about one of the most mysterious creatures in history. The appeal of this creature lies in the fact that it challenges our imagination. It is a bridge between science and myths about sea monsters, proving that the craziest things we think of are sometimes the truth of the past. It reminds us that nature always contains secrets that are greater than what we can imagine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next trips back in time. Let's explore the mysteries that await, because nature still contains miracles that go beyond the concept of immortality.